Hello, this is Dodie from Deliberate Aging. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Dodie Georgiades, and I'm an advocate for a healthy lifestyle. A lifestyle where we make deliberate choices that will have a positive impact on our health. Everyday choices, such as what to eat, when to sleep, and how we spend our free time. I have always been interested in topics such as nutrition, exercise, stress management, sleep hygiene, etc. Basically, ways that we can keep ourselves healthy and things that we can do to ensure that we can keep participating in all the activities that we love for as long as possible. Personally, I want to be doing yoga and ballroom dancing into my 80s and beyond. Someone else might make deliberate choices to stay healthy enough to perfect their golf game. Others might make these choices in order to keep up with their grandchildren. But how do we keep ourselves healthy? This is a great question because there's a lot of information out there and it's often contradictory. So how do you know what information to trust? I mean, you just need to look at the number of diet books being published to realize the confusion. I mean, what is the best diet to follow? Is it the Mediterranean diet, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, keto, flexitarian? I mean, the list is unending and it can be overwhelming and confusing. So let me be super clear. I am not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, a therapist, or any other specialist. I'm simply a normal person who's trying to live her best life and sort through all the information out there in order to make the best choices for me. I'll be discussing some topics of interest, but please know that this information is for entertainment purposes only. You should always consult with your medical team before making any changes to your diet or exercise, especially if you have any medical conditions such as diabetes or heart disease. As I said before, I'm just a normal person who's trying to live her best life and sort through all the information out there in order to make the best choices for me. And the key word that I want to stress is me. I'm making the best choices for me. Because I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach to wellness. What appeals to me, what works for me, may not appeal to you, may not work for you. We're all unique individuals, and we need to celebrate that uniqueness and do some investigation to determine what works best for us as individuals. So to provide an example, one of my least favorite foods is beets. I know they're healthy, but I can't stand the taste of them. So if a specialist recommends that I add these to my diet, I'm going to have to very strongly say no, even though I know logically that they are healthy and they probably would be a great addition. But on the other hand, someone else might get the same advice from that specialist, and if they like beets, then it wouldn't be hard for them to add them into their diet and be perfectly happy with that decision. I think that the topic of wellness is interesting and is constantly evolving as specialists learn more about the human body every day. For example, do you remember the old food pyramid that advised us to fill the majority of our diet with carbs, such as bread, cereal, rice, and pasta? And way up at the top of the pyramid was fat, and we were told to restrict that. So people adhered to this eating method, and our society got heavier and unhealthier. So today we're advised to take a different approach. We're advised to look at our plates and fill the majority of it with vegetables. And also we're no longer told to avoid all fat, but to avoid the unhealthy fats and to incorporate the healthy ones. Another change that I've seen is in the exercise world. In the past, most classes at the gym were an hour in length. It seems that 60 minutes was the magic number of minutes to exercise. But today the classes are shorter. Experts determined that we don't need to spend hours in the gym to be healthy. Actually, we don't even need to go to a gym. We can do things around our house, such as mowing the lawn, gardening, vacuuming, or playing on the floor with our grandkids, and this counts as exercise. So how about the change involving our brains? I love this one. In the past, scientists thought that our brains kept growing up to a certain age, and then they reached their maximum capacity. And at this point, it was all downhill from there. But lucky for us, scientists now agree that our brains can continue to grow even in older people due to neuroplasticity. Another thing that I'd like you to know about me is that I favor the conservative. I'd rather try something that's proven, a tried and true solution, rather than jumping on the latest fads. I'd like to see the evidence that something works, say the latest diet craze, before giving it a try. And I'm also a big advocate for consistency. I strongly believe that consistent behavior is much better for our long-term health than sporadic behavior. For example, it's better to go for a 15-minute walk on most days of the week as compared to only hitting the gym on the weekends and being a weekend warrior. Now, when I talk about health and wellness, I'm not limiting this to physical health only. A healthy lifestyle includes so much more than this. Things such as your mental health, social support, having a purpose in life, having a reason to get out of bed in the morning with excitement. All of these things combine to make us healthy. So let me give you an example. Suppose you visit a doctor and he tells you that your blood work shows you're at high risk for cardiovascular disease. That's pretty scary, right? So you leave his office determined to make drastic changes, and you decide to become a strict vegan. You go cold turkey from one day being a happy carnivore to the next day being a strict vegan. 6 months later, your doctor is amazed at your progress when you go back for a blood work recheck. You've improved your health when the doctor checks only your blood work. So he's happy, he tells you, keep doing what you're doing. However, suppose you're at a mentally very low point because your strict vegan diet is just driving you crazy and making you really unhappy. So is this person truly well? I think not, because I believe we need to be both physically healthy and mentally healthy to be truly well. So in this example, the person took a really strict approach to tackling one small aspect of their health, when maybe a less strict approach would have given similar results. So what if that person decided to forego meat on most days of the week, say Monday through Friday, and then allow themselves to indulge in healthier, lower fat versions on the weekend? Would they have gotten similar results? Maybe, but they definitely would have been happier in the long run. So as I said previously, consistent behavior is better than sporadic behavior when it comes to health. So avoid extremes, take steps in the right direction, because every small step counts, and it's never too late to start. So in conclusion, let me just recap what I'm going to be doing with my podcast. I will deliver a new podcast once per week on a Sunday to discuss various topics, such as mindful eating, exercise, brain health, and stress management. These episodes will be shorter, bite-sized episodes, 15 minutes or less. Once per month, I'm going to invite a guest speaker to join me to provide real-life examples of people who are making deliberate choices to age well. These episodes will tend to be a little bit longer. I want this to be fun and informative, so please communicate with me on my Facebook page. Let me know if you have specific questions on a topic that I've already discussed. Maybe there's a topic you want me to discuss that I haven't done yet. Or maybe you want to join me and be a guest speaker. Please let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. Next week's episode will be on mindful eating, and I'll present you with a challenge. I call it the 5-minute chocolate challenge. I hope you'll tune in and join me in the challenge. Thanks for listening. This is Dodie from Deliberate Aging. Until next time, be well, friends. This podcast is presented solely for informational and educational purposes only. Use of information from this podcast is at the user's own risk. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of your physician or other qualified professional. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from use of this podcast.